It conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. So I'm going to review. There's stages. This is for the purpose of our Japa retreat and appreciating what quality chanting is and what it's like if you somehow become capable of quality chanting. And inspiration from those who have quality chanting is an open secret. Their association and their mercy can help you get there. But their mercy isn't just like wave their hands in the air. It's hear their instructions, take their instructions within, and practice them, live by them, make them your life. The instructions of these great personalities, this becoming a follower of the 6 Goswamis. We're going to get to Gopal Bhatta and Sanatana shortly, but we're starting with Rupa. So there's the glories. It's full of nectar. Next is the speaking part of the body, because when we're chanting, we make some sound. And if we make the sound carefully and devotionally, then there's a taste. Eventually, there is a taste, and as one becomes purified, taste may awaken. For Rupa, the taste has awakened. And then next is the hearing part of the body. And when hearing, it's not just many mouths, it's millions of ears, because the nectar is such, the nectar of the sound is such. Millions of ears, so in sequence. Chanting, glories, that's the why. And then what is with the mouth, and then with the ear. And then comes what the effect of any yoga practice, if it's done properly, is controlling of the mind and senses. What's yoga without controlling of the mind and senses? It's not yoga. Yoga indriya samyama. Yoga indriya samyama. So yoga means controlling the mind, the sixth sense, and the indriyas. So mind and senses. Difficult. We all know what the difficulty is. It's called distraction, called different things. Inattention. So to bring the mind to the point of quiet, or as it says here, conquered, let the sound vibration of the holy name enter the heart. How that happens if the hearing is done with practice, very carefully, with practice, very carefully, hearing, vibrating, but hearing and hearing, hearing with rapt attention. It enters the courtyard of the heart. And then, when it enters the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the mind. It conquers the activities of the mind. And when the mind becomes conquered, the senses become inert. So yoga is accomplished. Yoga indriya samyama. Just it takes hearing. And then enters the heart, courtyard of the heart, dancing within the courtyard of the heart. Nice poetic image. It has to do with higher stages of bhakti. There's the dancing, and there's the dance instructor. So, Rupa Goswami's glimpse into the chanting of the holy name with quality. There's Vidagdha Madhava. There's the reference. You can look it up later if you like. And there's commentary on Vidagdha Madhava. Here's our founder Acharya speaking about quality chanting. He's on a morning walk, as you see from this image. This particular passage is from Morning Walk in Nairobi, 1975. Why 16 rounds? Why not 16,000 rounds? That is the meaning of quality. Therefore, chant at least 16 rounds. when you come to chanting with quality, you will feel, why 16 rounds? Why not 16,000? One of my godbrothers recently passed from this world in Vrindavan, and for the past 12 years, he had the practice of chanting 64 rounds before the sun came up every morning. I'll say it again. For the past 16 years, he had the practice of chanting 64 rounds before the sun rose every morning. Summer, fall, winter, spring, all the seasons. Doesn't matter, hot, cold, doesn't matter. Fixed. No, that's taste. And then what to speak of the rest of the day? And his reading and other activities. That's quality chanting. So now, most of us aren't in that place where hearing and chanting, welcome to the life of sannyas. I hear it all the time. People in different ways say this little same message. I just had one of our ISKCON youth say the same thing to me. Just not experiencing what he feels he should be experiencing. And so the purpose of this presentation on quality chanting is to go beyond, we're calling it here mediocrity. Go the next step towards in the direction of quality where there's some transformation. Now, I've mentioned already 3 of our 6 Goswamis. They're very important personalities. Rupa and Sanatan, Gopal Bhatta, and now we're going to hear from Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, Raghunath Das Goswami isn't known as a big author, but what he did write was elevated and moving. If you hear it carefully, please hear it carefully, because we're going to cover one verse of Srimana Shiksha. And in Srimana Shiksha, he is instructing the mind how to come to that place where chanting is done with quality. But a big part of chanting done with quality requires mercy, not just effort. So let's hear. There's a recording with nice background music of chanting of the verse. Follow along if you like.
Yadi cher avasham brajabhuvi saragam pratijanun yuvadvandvam tachchit paricharitum aradabilashe svarupam shrirupam saganamiha tasyagrajamapi sputam premna nityam smaranamatatvam shrunumana.
So the last line, smara namatada. His good wife rendered the composition in English.
Listen, O mind, if you desire in every birth to reside in the land of Vraja with loving attachment and to serve the youthful couple of Sri Sri Radha Krishna in close proximity, then clearly remember and offer obeisances to Sri Swarup, Sri Rupa and his associates in Vrindavan, and to Sri Rupa's elder brother, Sri Sanatan.
So a very nice Pushkar painting of the 6 Goswamis assembled together, studying the scripture and discussing Krishna topics, and relishing them not just as academics, but as Shuddha Bhaktas. Who knows what those discussions were like. When I first visited Vrindavan, it was right after the Kartik month when Prabhupada took a group of his intimate disciples to all the places of Vrindavan. And one of the places he took them to was the temple of Jiva Goswami, the Radha Damodar temple. Now, so much has changed since then. But when we went, if you circumambulate in the past, when you circumambulate around the temple, the deity, there was a big stone slab. And the stone slab was covering a little cavern because in Vrindavan in the summer it gets really hot. Like hot. And so he described, so that Prabhupada described to the devotees, it was Guru Das who took us to these places when, after that, the Gaur Purnima festival, we went to Vrindavan and he showed us the place where the 6 Goswamis would sit, because the Radha Damodar temple was convenient, centrally located geographically from where the other Goswamis resided, and from time to time they would come together, and as you see, of course this doesn't show this covered place, because sometimes they didn't, in the summer they weren't in this covered place, but to stay away from the cold and get huddled together, they chanted behind the deity in this secluded place and engaged in Krishna Katha. Just a detail, but you know, that was part of their life, associating together like this painting is showing. And now we're hearing yet another, not one of the 6 Goswamis, but Sri Sarup. Who's Sri Sarup referred to? Sri Sarup refers to Swarup Damodar because when Raghunath Das Goswami, after much difficulty and obstacles, etc., 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 by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, he got released from the bondage of his family circumstance, and he went to Puri, and when he reached Puri, Lord Chaitanya gave him his affection, and Lord Chaitanya gave him the association of Swarup Damodar. And he became known, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, he became known in Puri as the Raghu of Swarup, because there were many Raghunaths. So Raghunath became Raghunath, the Raghu of Swarup. And who, in Swarup Damodar, along with Ramananda Roy, those two were the most intimate associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during his entire stay in Jagannath Puri. And in Krishna Lila, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in the mood of Radha, and Swarup Damodar is who? Lalita Saki. Same mood and same intimacy, so as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing his ecstasies, he, Swarup, and Ramananda Roy assisted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in relishing those ecstasies in various ways, by reciting slokas, and they knew his mood and they knew the slokas and they would enhance the mood, etc., etc. So they intimately knew his mood, Swarup Damodar specifically, knew the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, knew the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he instructed Raghunath for the entire time that Raghunath Das Goswami was in Puri, in the association of Swarup Damodar and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Through Swarup Damodar, Raghunath understood everything. Not only the pastimes, but everything. Now, there was a short little after-class discussion yesterday about, you read in Chaitanya Charitamrita about what I just said. And supposing you were in Puri in the association of Raghunath Das Goswami, who heard intimately from Swarup Damodar. What feelings does he have for Swarup Damodar? Otherworldly feelings, because he was taken to an otherworldly place by this otherworldly personality that knew everything. Everything. The pastimes, the mood, the ecstasies, the whole science of... So when he left Puri, Rupa Goswami instructed him. Rupa Goswami instructed Raghunath Das Goswami every day. We were serving Lord Chaitanya in separation. You were with him. And you knew all these things from Swarup Damodar and your first-hand experience. Every day, for 3 to 4 hours every day, 3 to 4 hours every day, give instructions of what you understood from Swarup Damodar to the Vaishnavas. Every day, sit under this tree, every day. And one of the persons in the audience was Krishnadas Kaviraj. So Krishnadas Kaviraj was able to write Chaitanya Charitamrita from first-hand instructions from Raghunath Das Goswami. So detail. Raghunath Das Goswami has affection for Swarup Damodar, like anything. So we can have that, we can try to cultivate the mood of offering obeisance to and taking shelter of Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami. There's nothing like the first-hand experience, but he, in Manashiksha, is instructing his mind, which means he's instructing our mind how to achieve a goal. Chanting will help us. It's the primary means to get to the goal. And this is also receiving the mercy of these elevated souls, along with something we do is receiving mercy. Of course, there's mercy in the holy name himself, or itself. Here's the translation again. Listen, O mind, Manashiksha, if you desire, in every birth, notice in 2 words, it's detachment from liberation. Because the stage of prema derives even the conception of liberation. So in every birth, to reside in the land of Vraja with loving attachment. So the attachment to the object of love is very important. With loving attachment and to serve. Personal service to Radha. This is one of the, according to the teachings given by Lord Chaitanya to Swarup Damodar, to Raghunath, Raghunath to Krishnadas Kaviraj, to then in turn Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's disciplic succession message. There are 3 categories of attachment. In the stage, the elevated stages of bhakti, he's teaching us in simple language the elevated stages of bhakti. He's a very important teacher. So there's 2 of the 3 things that are mentioned in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's writings. So there's the desire to be in the association, the desire to be in the service of, in close proximity. Then, clearly remember and offer obeisances to. This is the mercy factor. Remember and offer obeisances to. Swarup, Rupa, and his associates in Vrindavan, and Rupa's elder brother, Sanatana. So we're in good shape. We're heading in the direction of Raga Bhakti by the association and the instructions of Raghunath Das Goswami. Here's the pictures or paintings of these 2 personalities, Gopal Bhatta and Sanatana Goswami, the authors, plural, of Hari Bhakti Vilas. And here's the verse. I hope you're ready. There's 6 points according to this verse that then are expanded in a number of other verses, and we're going to be focusing our discussion this morning, quality chanting, on this verse. Mana samharanam is the first. Saucham is the second. Maunam is the third. Mantrartha chintanam is the fourth. We'll get the meanings of each of these words shortly. Avya gratvam anirvedo japa sampati. Japa sampati or japa siddhi. Japa sampati. Perfection through practice. So there's the practice of japa, and then there's the stage of perfection in japa, sadhana siddha. So here's the meanings of the words one by one. We're going to be going through this about 4 times. So please take note of the Sanskrit terms. Subduing the mind. Phew, that's a good place to start. Cleanliness. Silence. Meditate on the mantra's meaning. Mantrartha chintanam. You'll see these phrases come again and again 4 times from different, but the source, at least our frame of reference source, is Hari Bhakti Vilas, Gopal Bhatta, and Sanatana Goswami. They didn't just create this. It was derived from some source of authority, and they just encoded it for our edification. Patience and steadiness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to hear something about each of these 6 to help us come to the stage, progressively cultivate quality chanting. Here's the translations. From this is Bhajana Rahasya by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's translating this verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas in this book. To be attentive, purification of the heart is required. This means, the next one, keeping silence. That is, avoiding unfavorable talking. While chanting, one must affectionately remember the meaning of the mantra. It's not mechanical, devotional. Steadiness, patience, and attachment to chanting are all treasures of chanting. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary on the verse that we just saw from Hari Bhakti Vilas, and a more contemporary author, Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani. He has excellent writing and very faithfully presented. Shri Radha Shama Sundara Ki Jai. Here's what he writes. Shivaram Swami. These are the causes of success in chanting. 6. Subduing the mind, cleanliness, avoiding unnecessary talk, remembering the meaning of the mantra, patience, and not becoming disappointed. So, the source, Hari Bhakti Vilas. In chronological sequence, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had many wonderful associates. One of those wonderful associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a devotee named Vikreshwara Pandit. And I'm sure many of you read about him in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was particularly noted for his dancing, but in addition to dancing, he was noted for his attraction for chanting. And he had as a disciple Gopal Guru Goswami. Now, all of you who registered should have received a document that gives a little biography about Gopal Guru's life. The title Guru was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was Gopal, little boy. But even as a little boy, he would instruct everyone about chanting. There's details I'm not going to narrate because of time, but you can read. I encourage you to read this document. He's an exceptional personality. And he personally served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu gave him this name when he was a little boy, Gopal Guru, and it stuck. So he has written a book, among other things, Harinam Mahamantra Vyakya. Smarana Padati. Smarana means remembrance. Padati means step by step. So it's like a manual, and how to step by step always remember the Maha Mantra. And it's Vyakya, the system of remembering the Lord. And one of his terms is mantra artha chintanam. Mantrartha chintanam. Mantrartha chintanam. Meditating on the meaning, artha, and the value of the mantra. So in this book that he's written, he very elaborately discusses the three words, the meaning of the three words in the Maha Mantra. And the first one of those three words is Hare. He has a very interesting, most of us know the meaning of Hare, it's referring to Radharani. But he has a little further expansion. Krishna's name is Hari, Radha's name is Hara, and the vocative Hara becomes Hare. Hare Krishna. So here's his explanation. It's very nice. The personality of Godhead, who has a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, has manifested himself in the form of his name. Because he takes away ignorance and its activities, the devotees remember him as Hari. Sri Radha, who is Lord, the Lord's own pleasure potency, steals the mind of Krishna. Therefore she is praised as Hara. The vocative form of Hara is Hare. So even in Vaikuntha, one of the names of goddess of fortune aside from Lakshmi is the same Hara. It's just, but specifically in Gaudiya Vaishnava or Gora depiction, she steals the mind of Krishna. Therefore, Hara, and the vocative it becomes Hare. So it's a meditation. This is instructions from Gopal Guru Goswami on how to meditate on the meaning of the mantra. We're here for a Japa retreat. We're going to be focusing on trying to improve the quality, and this is one of the 6 items. Mantrartha Chintanam, one of the 6. Meditate on the meaning of the mantra. Now, commonly, it's in Hari Bhakti Vilas that when you're chanting mantra, supposing you're chanting Gayatri mantra or any spirit, supposing you're chanting Brahma Samhita, that's a spiritual sound. Meditating on the meaning of the sound enhances your experience of the chanting of Sri Brahma Samhita and the slokas. Meditate on the meaning of while chanting. But it's specifically, Gopal Guru is describing Mahamantra. Achieving perfection in chanting a Mahamantra, not just in quality, but perfection. And what's the meaning of Krishna? His writing says, Sri Krishna is the eternal beloved of Radha, who is bliss personified. The beautiful, dark son of Nanda with eyes like lotus petals is the only source of bliss for the residents of Goloka, Gokula. He is therefore known as Krishna. Therefore, the names Hare and Krishna mean Radha and Krishna and are full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Meditate on the meaning. Say the mantra, make the mouth go, make the ear go, and then meditate on the meaning as you're going forward. And it's not, won't distract you, will help you focus. And the meaning of Rama, that Sri Krishna, who is the chief amongst those expert in loving affairs and the worshipable deity of amorous pastimes, always enjoys Radha. He is therefore called Rama or Radha Ramana Rama. This is Gopal Guru. Now, there are different ways of meditating on the meaning. It's found in Chaitanya Charitamrita that some persons argue, Adi Lila chapter 5, some persons argue Rama means Balaram. No, some persons argue, no, Rama means Lord Ramachandra. And they get into a quarrel. It happens in Vaishnava circles sometimes. They're both right. So there's two additional meanings, but a very nice one is the one up above, Gopal Guru's Radha Ramana Rama. He who always enjoys Radha through amorous pastimes. Now, Gopal Guru Goswami, you'll read in the little biography that was sent around, a PDF, that he had a disciple named Dhyanachandra Goswami. And Dhyanachandra Goswami wrote a similar padati, Smarana padati, Gora Govindarchana, Gora Govinda Archana Smarana padati. Now these are devotees that it's esoteric, but they dove deeply and became expert, not just quality, but they became perfect. And they wrote books to help next generation people achieve what they achieved. Notice in the red letters on the screen here, Mana Samharanam Shaucham Mona Mantrartha Chintanam. We heard that one. Those are 4 of the 6 from Hari Bhakti Vilas. So he, Dhyanachandra Goswami, didn't do creative writing. He's drawing from his guru, who's drawing from Hari Bhakti Vilas. We'll see where Hari Bhakti Vilas was drawing from. When Gopal Bhatta Goswami compiled Hari Bhakti Vilas in Sri Rangam, wasn't creative writing. Here's a translation. The sadhaka, that's us, this is the first part doesn't have the same weight. Shouldn't move his head and neck about, nor show his teeth. That's also from Hari Bhakti Vilas. He shall sanctify his mind by withdrawing it from the objects of the senses, ponder the meaning of the mantra, and maintain silence. And then, another verse that follows, the mantra should be situated in the mind, and the mind should be situated in the mantra. Now tomorrow we're going to be inviting everyone to participate in what we conventionally call 64-round day. This is a very powerful thing to remember. If you meditate on this instruction and try to internalize the instruction, you'll find it very helpful. The mind and mantra should be joined together. This is the characteristic of japa. And the picture in the upper right is a picture of the book, not translated into English. And here's our founder Acharya Prabhupada in a deeply meditative pose. It appears that he's chanting. He has his japa beads. He's not giving a lecture. And there's a little audio clip. Our understanding of the meaning of the mantra is Prabhupada made very simpler. My dear Radha, my dear Krishna, please engage me in your service. We've all heard that one. Now, if technology cooperates, we're going to hear Prabhupada's words.
Jima bhaktya prajaj. The real thing is bhakti. What you can offer to Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. What you have got? What is your value? And what is the value of your things? There is nothing. Therefore, the real thing is bhaktya. Real thing is your feeling. Krishna, kindly take it. I have no qualification. I am most rotten fallen. But I have brought this thing for you. Please take. This will be accepted. Don't be puffed. Always be careful. You are dealing with Krishna. That is my request. Thank you very much.
Now the message here is Prabhupada speaking about offering things to Krishna, but chanting is an offering of our voice, offering of our ear, offering of our heart, in a devotional, because what is Krishna? Krishna doesn't need anything, but it's an inspiration to receive from Krishna the holy name and to call Krishna's holy name. He doesn't need our chanting, but we make the offering. Now, mantra chintanam, that was the meaning. Next is, what's the value of the mantra? Rupa Goswami has helped us understand in different passages. One is namastakam. The holy name is worshipped by liberated souls. Why? Even namabhas destroys all types of miseries. Tum anadarad api manag indiratam. If someone utters, you, even with negligence, you destroy his severe material miseries. This is your mighty power. So what to speak of, that's the reason, the value, the merit of the gift of chanting. I'm going to narrate the story very quickly, the Brahmana and Sanatana Goswami's touchstone. The Brahmana was very poor, he couldn't maintain his family, what to do. He went to Sanatana Goswami and said, I heard you have a touchstone. You're charitable to the Brahmanas. Could you give me your touchstone as charity? Sure. Look over there in the rubbish pile, you'll find it. Sure enough, he found it, went back to his ashram, touched his metal pot, iron pot, with the touchstone, it turned into gold. It works. because he was a Brahmana, he tried this and that and everything became gold. Then he understood, if he's got this extremely valuable thing in the garbage heap, he must have something more valuable. So he went back. Do you have something more valuable? Can you give that to me? You know the story. Sanatana Goswami said, sure, on one condition. What's that? Take the touchstone and throw it in the Jamuna. And so the Brahmana looked at the touchstone, looked at Sanatana Goswami, looked at the touchstone, looked at Sanatana Goswami. He trusted him, so he threw the touchstone in the river. Then Sanatana Goswami gave him the most valuable thing. This is meditating on the value. And sure enough, that Brahmana became not just a Brahmana, but a very qualified person. One of Rupa Goswami's books is a collection of sayings, statements from previous acharyas, sometimes his own, sometimes unknown authors. Here's one from an unknown author. Extracting the 4 syllables that are the heart of the 4 Vedas, Lord Hari makes the word Narayana. Day and night, chanting this name, we become purified. We do not know any other better way to please Lord Hari. This is value. It's one of the 6 items for quality chanting. So don't let this just be an exercise of information. It's information, but let it be an exercise to help us move closer to quality chanting. Let it move your heart. Ishwar Puri, I like this one very much. Let the twice born enter the fearless kingdom of yoga, Vedic study, and solitary meditation in the forest. Let them become liberated in that way. He's not looking down his nose at liberation. He's taking the position, and Prema Bhakti, one derides even the conception. Here he's not speaking in demeaning terms. Let those persons that want to achieve that, let them be honored. I honor them. As for us, we will spend hundreds of thousands of births not wanting liberation. Janma Nishore. Chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, whose splendid dark complexion and yellow garments are like a host of blue lotus flowers blooming in a grove of yellow flower-bearing kadamba trees. Poetic imagery, but that's his detachment from the concept of liberation, instead wanting to be very similar to Raghunath Das Goswami. Birth after birth, being in the association of Krishna through his holy name. Author unknown, last of the Padyavali references. May Krishna's holy name, which is a reservoir of all transcendental happiness, the destruction of Kali Yuga's sins, the most purifying of all purifying things, the person's food as he quickly traverses the paths up to the spiritual world, the pleasure garden where the voices of the great saints, philosophers, and poets play, the life of the righteous, and the seed of the tree of religion bring transcendental auspiciousness to you all. So it's a benediction to, may everyone receive this benediction of the chanting of the holy name. So far we've discussed 2 of the 6 items found in Hari Bhakti Vilas related to quality chanting. Meditate on the meaning, meditate on the value. Here's another nice list. Notice, it's a very similar list, but it's not 6, it's 5. And where do those 5 come from? Patanjali Muni. Patanjali Muni is celebrated for having written Patanjali Yoga Sutras, or Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. My understanding, I haven't found verification, but my understanding is when Gopal Bhatta Goswami wrote these 6, he just took the 5 from a predecessor authority, because Patanjali is recognized amongst great authorities as a great authority. In any case, here's the 5. Subduing the mind, cleanliness, silence, patience, and steadiness. Very similar, not identical. But some of the Sanskrit phrases are identical. Manak samharanam, subduing the mind. Difficult. Control the mind. And there's a very nice authority, a similar authority, around the same time of Patanjali. His name is Bhartrhari. Bhartrhari was a Sanskrit poet, has a very colorful history. He wrote a book called Subhashitas, Shubha Ashitas. And it begins like this, one of them. It's written in Sanskrit. The mind is like a monkey, a drunken monkey. A drunken monkey stung by a scorpion. A drunken monkey stung by a scorpion, possessed by a ghost. Difficult to control the mind. Mantra samharanam. So what to do when you have a drunken monkey that's inhabiting your life? The instruction of Bhagavad Gita. And it works. It's something that at least we should practice. This is the verse from 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Dhyan Yoga chapter. From wherever and that the mind wanders, due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the capital S self. So that's another one of the items. This is from Patanjali's list. Then here's Shaucham, that's in both lists. Cleanliness. You've seen this painting before. This is Mahaprabhu engaged in Gundicha Marjana to cleanse the Gundicha temple so that it's an inviting place for Jagannath to come and stay. And boy, did they took the whole day, and etc. And then washed it again. Shaucham. External cleanliness and internal cleanliness. External cleanliness is the body and the place where you work or you do your worship, etc. And then the internal cleanliness, Chaita Darpana Marjanam. We discussed that yesterday. The internal cleanliness. Of the two, the internal cleanliness takes some time. Maunam. Shaucham, Maunam. Here's a verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10. Of secret things, I am silence. And this silence doesn't mean, I was just sharing. A few airplane rides ago, I was in a Southwest Airlines flight to somewhere. And the stewardess did what they do every flight, they take your drink order. And she stopped and looked at me as she's writing on her pad and asked, "Are you a monk?" I said, "Yes." She said, "What order?" And I said, "Hare Krishna." And And she said, I thought so. And then she said, have you taken a vow of silence? And I said, we wouldn't be having a conversation if I had a vow of silence. She said, yeah, you're right. Then I explained, real silence is not speaking nonsense, but speaking only transcendental topics that are in relation to Sri Hari. She nodded her head and took my drink order and went on. So, it was a little exchange. Many people think that's what silence means. That do not. But then what you do, the teaching of our acharyas is negation of that which is meant for the service of Hari. It's artificial renunciation. Rather, renunciation is to engage everything that's in relation to Hari in service of Hari. That's detachment. And silence, same thing. To speak only Bhagavad Katha and reject talk unrelated to Krishna is known as mauna. One should not talk about anything mundane while chanting. So here's an example of someone that's got his bead bag on his hand, but he's distracted by what? Our dear distracting device, our cell phone. And whether he's pausing his chanting or chanting and by looking at his phone, that's a no-no. And then finally, not least, but this is from Patanjali's list, Avyagratvam, or non-haste or patience. Here's a very nice photograph of Prabhupada in Los Angeles at his desk at the Los Angeles temple. And there's a very nice story from one of Prabhupada's servants who tells the story. This is Shrutakirti. One day I was in his sitting room in New Dwarka, cleaning around his desk. He was sitting behind his desk, chanting Japa. As he pulled down a counter bead, he looked at me with a beautiful smile and said humorously, "There, I have finished my 16 rounds. Now I can do any damn thing I want." No, not many people think like that, but there may be people that think, my business is finished when I complete my vows. We discussed this yesterday. It's worth repeating. The mode of passion is different than the mode of goodness, and what to speak of transcendence. The mode of passion mode of passion can inspire commitments made in anything, in spiritual life included. So if you have a commitment to whatever, you take a commitment to do a project, to teach something, conduct a Japa retreat, or participate in a Japa retreat, or tomorrow chant 64 rounds, or whatever your commitment is. Be a pujari and have a festival, and big festivals, nice decoration for the deities, or cook the feast and it came out really nice, or just this chanting 16 rounds. There's a commitment. And the happiness is the completing the commitment, and that's incomplete. There's nothing wrong, but it's incomplete. Rather than, this is this mindfulness topic that came up yesterday. The mindfulness of what's the purpose of those 16 rounds, or the festival, or the offering to the deity, or the whatever it is. What's the purpose behind it? The why behind the what, or the how. So we're practicing sadhana, but when we're practicing sadhana, we should meditate on the purpose. Why? And don't be anxious Be enthusiastic, but don't be anxious or impatient. It happens. I hear it. I become impatient. I just got yesterday a letter. I'm impatient. I've been chanting for X, and it's not happening. And I'm feeling frustrated because it's not happening. And that's, who in the room can say that we already did this at the very beginning? I'm there. So if you're not there, there may be some impatience for, I want to be there. To be enthusiastic, don't at the same time be very patient, and mindfulness of the purpose of each mantra, or as this Gopal Guru is indicating, the meaning of each name. If you want quality chanting, you have to do these things. It's not just check the box. Ours is a devotional process, not a mechanical process. And finally, anirveda, non-dejection or steadiness. This is a photograph of a turtle on a path. So it may take a while to get there, that's okay. One should not become discouraged by moving slowly in his endeavor to attain the desired goal. Rather, one should chant with patience. Small thing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Don't Hare Krishna, it's Hare Krishna, please. And here's the list. Summary. Mana samharanam, subduing the mind. This is our final slide. Shaucham, purity or cleanliness. Maunam, silence. Mantrartha chintanam. Meditate on the mantra's meaning. This is now from the list of Patanjali, but it's a similar description. Non-haste, be patient. And don't become dejected if you're not there yet. Quality chanting. You ready for quality chanting? You sure? Let's see if there's some discussion. We can turn the lights on so we can see each other better. Yes, I see a hand up. I see a few heads up. Somebody should assist this nice devotee so he doesn't have to run around like this. Oh, it works too, not only that.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I wanted to check.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to check if we can do chanting with counters. Like if you go to a doctor's office or somewhere, you don't want to bring your japa beads there. So is that okay to do?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not. The principle is chanting, and whether it's this or that, chanting. You can use your fingers, you can use beads, you can use this or that.
Thank you.
Okay? No hard and fast rules. Behind you, right behind you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, my question is, why was it that in the later
Speak slowly.
iterations...
Why what?
Why was it that in the later iterations of the 6 standards of the quality of chanting, some were left out? like in some of the slokas, there was only 4 or 5 of them.
It's different lists. Okay, you want to know why the lists are different and different numbers and so forth? That's your question?
Yeah.
Different authorities make different statements based upon their realization and scriptural authority. Now let's go back, because preceding Hari Bhakti Vilas, we mentioned, chronologically, before they wrote, Patanjali wrote. Now where did Patanjali get what he wrote? He didn't do a creative writing spree. Where did he get it? From the Vedas. Which of the Vedas? I don't know. But he's cherry-picked certain ones, 5 in his case, from his writing. This is my understanding. Expanded was the writings of Gopal Bhatta and Sanatana Goswami. I don't know which of the two, but they expanded because there's other authoritative scriptural sources that says it's not just 5, it's 6, it's embellishing. So different realizations from different authorities. Because the root, what's the root? The Vedas. And there's explanations of the Vedas that may differ from one authority to another authority, but the root must be the source. So there's different emphasis, personalities on this or that or the other thing. So it's individual, customized, but the root is the same. Was that okay?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. On the haste part of it, like in this world when we have a limited 24 hours and then we are always rushing, how do we not do haste in our chanting because we have limited time, we have to rush to this 9 to 6 madness?
And let me say back what I think you're asking. Correct me if I've not understood. What you're asking is, how do we stay fixed on the purpose behind chanting while we're at the same time doing time management?
Yes,
I have this much time,
Yes, Maharaj.
and in this much time, that's my time for chanting. So how do we not get stuck on the time management thing and we stay with the purpose behind the chanting?
Yeah, without hasting.
Without?
haste. Without haste.
Without tasting it.
Haste. Number 5.
Oh, without haste. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Practice and practice. This is my understanding. That the principle of bhakti is very simple. The principle of bhakti is that Krishna should be pleased. The affinity, the attraction, the dedication, the commitment, the heart that Krishna should be pleased is bhakti. With that why clear, then you go to the how and the what. So now you do time management, that's the how and the what. But the why is at the center, because I want to come to again to the position that my life is that Krishna should be pleased with my service to him, with me and my service to him. Krishna should be pleased. So now I'm going to the how and the what. That's time management. Prabhupada's statement that I like, when you're chanting, you should chant swiftly because it helps to capture the mind, but not so swiftly you cannot hear every syllable. So that's a directional, that's an intelligence direction that goes to the mind. My dear mind. Yes, my dear intelligence, what's your instruction? Swiftly. So then you find out, according to your personality and your capabilities, what does swiftly mean? Well, you're hearing every syllable. And that's how much time you should allot. Don't make it too big, don't make it too small, make it what's realistic and sustainable. So it's a time management principle driven by a bhakti principle. And my life in bhakti has this much time, and I just try to, you have to be a little flexible. Some days a little more, some days a little less, that's fine. But you have a principle that you target. And then when the bell rings, there's different options what you can do. If you say it's a particular day or morning where you are chanting more slowly, or there's some interruption or something, then you when the time is up, the bell rings, it's time for class, and I must attend the class, or I must do whatever it is that I must do. I stop, because time management, and go on to the next thing. And I can circle back with discretionary time and do what I didn't do during the prescribed time. So, use their intelligence to guide the mind, based upon principle, instructions of our acharyas. That's my response to your question.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam Maharaj. Thank you so much for insightful class. So this is what I've heard from some classes around the same topic, and I may be wrong in interpreting it, but they've talked that you can think about Krishna's pastimes when you're chanting, or you can have prayers in your mind. And also you talked about to focus on the meaning of it.
Wait, you're going to go on to the second topic. Can we take them one at a time?
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll give you a microphone. You got the microphone.
Sure.
It's one of the nicer forms of distraction. But it's distraction. According to Bhaktisiddhanta, what you just described, I don't know what people said, but what Bhaktisiddhanta says is it arises naturally. One doesn't need to wild this, you do that. The multi-processing paradigm that's very popular today. So take that multi-processing tendency or paradigm and apply it to chanting. My understanding from Bhaktisiddhanta's instructions and others, please don't do that. If it comes spontaneously, that's one thing. You pause the chanting, enter into some prayer, and in the prayer, you carry that prayer in your heart, and it can give support to the primary activity, but it's not the primary activity. It's a support that may help support the primary activity, which is undistracted, undeviated manasamharanam in the name. So to enter into, each of us have different methods of what we do, including chanting. But I don't recommend the multi-processing method based upon Bhaktisiddhanta's instruction, because during his time it was popular or fashionable. Krishna Lila Smarana, he didn't approve of it. He said it will happen spontaneously. Ashtakaliya Lila, during different times of the day, Krishna does different things. So when you're chanting Japa, what's Krishna doing at this time of the day? And let it arise spontaneously. Because when you're chanting, you're chanting. When you're studying, hearing the pastimes of Krishna, there are different times of the day he's doing different things. And it may naturally arise in the heart. But when you're chanting, you're just focusing on the sound or the meaning of the mantra, even if it's mantra that's chanted silently. And that's described in Hari Bhakti Vilasa as well. That's my response to the first part. People may advocate that, and I'm not going to rain on their parade. But that's not my understanding of what's recommended by our acharyas. Next question.
Yeah. So Maharaj, when you're talking about the meaning of mantra, first we focused on what Hare means, Krishna means, Ram means, and then in second part we talk about Prabhupada's prayers that please engage me in your service.
Yes.
So is this the entire meaning, or when we say meaning is only meaning of Hare Krishna and Ram words?
No. Your question is like his question, this young man's question. There's multiple. There's not, from the menu, there's two. Or the main is from, where's this come from? What's the authority behind this statement? When I know the authority behind the statement, I can place value in the statement. There can be multiple authoritative statements from different authorities, but it's the source, the authoritative source. And then at this time, today, or for this week or this month, I find I'm becoming very enlivened by this one. Later, it's by that one, and there's not. If this is right, then that's not right. It's not. There are different moods from different authorities, provided it's coming from a proper source. And there's diversity in the realm of perfection. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Okay, over here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisance, all Krishna Prabhupada. Maharaj, when that mantrata chintanam, meditate on the mantra's meaning. So, we do this before sitting down for japa or during japa?
Both. But especially, it's my understanding and my approach to all of this is it's simultaneous. It's a mood more than the details of. I'll give a subjective sharing. In Houston, they have a sannyas ashram. And there's a room that when I visit in Houston, they give me all the time. It's not my room, but and on the wall there's a pushkar painting. It's become like a worshipable painting for me. It's a painting of Krishna and Balaram sitting beneath a tree, and they're looking at each other. In the background there's cowherd boys doing cowherd boy things. And I was visiting Houston during Balaram's appearance day one time. So I became absorbed in the meaning of the name. So I'm looking at the painting. I didn't forget the Hare part, but Hare Krishna, my eyes went to the form of Krishna and met, and then there's details of the form, etc. His dress, his complexion, his flute. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So it's the meaning of the name, Hare Rama. So and then Krishna, please attract me. My mind is distracted. Balaram, please give me the strength. So it just evolved. It was a subset. It was part of the mood of the mantra, and I found it was very powerful chanting. But the painting helped. The essence. So back to your question. The essence is the name, and the meaning of the name can take its complexion, and is simultaneous.
So I don't have to make an extra effort to think about it. So if I'm really
It's a subset
absorbed,
of effort.
Sorry?
I'll say it again. Yes, but, or and, it's a subset of the effort because there's an instruction. And we follow instructions. To chant the name. And now comes instruction from the authority of Hari Bhakti Vilas, these two personalities that derive what they've written from some source, the Vedas. And it says, yes, the name, and with certain characteristics of the meaning of the name. And the purpose behind the chanting of the name. So it's a subset. It's a quality, it's an adjective modifying the noun. And so as one practices and practices and practices and practices, it becomes part of the name. It's not a separate thing. But does it take effort? Yes. It's a bhakti effort. If it's not a bhakti effort, then it's going to fizzle. It's not sustainable. But if it's a bhakti effort, then it's for the pleasure of Krishna, so that my mind can become, so that it's the intelligence. We discussed it yesterday, but I'll say it again. Nishtha is characterized by the intelligence directing the mind to the object. So the object is the name. Intelligence directs the mind to the object, name. So these are intelligence factors that help the mind come to the stage of taste. From nishtha comes ruchi. It has to do with the quality of chanting, and yes, but not separate from the object. Intelligence directing the mind to the object, the name. It's effort. It's a sadhana. Sadhana is effort. In addition to making the sound. Hearing the sound, that takes effort besides just making the sound. And then for the sound to enter into the courtyard of the heart, this is qualitative. That is, from the heart. So it's just, it's back to your question, it takes effort. But not just from the air, from the authority of our great acharyas that are teaching us how to. Intelligence directing the mind to the object, the name, who is not different than Krishna. That help?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
That's just a description or definition of nishtha. Up front, put your hand up so he can know who you're. He's got the microphone. Nandi Mukhi, put your hand up.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. We see here a list of 6 items, 6 components that are presented in the Hari Bhakti Vilas verse.
The Hari Bhakti Vilas verse doesn't have these same 6. Let's go back to the Hari Bhakti Vilas verse. Let's see.
Listen, O mind. If you desire in every birth to reside in the land of Vraja with loving attachment.
Okay. There's the 6, which is not identical to the list at the very end, which comes back to his question, how come the lists are different?
All right.
Does that address your question?
Not
Okay.
it's not the question. I'm more, like my question is, there are, for example, 6 items here, and which one is the most essential one, the one at the center?
That's a nice question. My response to your question is all six don't have necessarily a priority because they're details, and the essence of behind the details, there's an essence. And the essence is the desire to please Krishna. That's bhakti. Bhakti is that's the horse that pulls the cart. And the cart has 6 things in the cart. You want to know which of those 6 things in the cart is most important. I'm restating your question in my own way of restating your question. And it's not that my understanding is that those 6 may or may not have a priority. The priority is that Krishna should be pleased. The purpose behind, the why behind the what, or the how, is Krishna should be pleased. And we discussed this yesterday, with one of the questions that came up yesterday evening. There are characteristics of steady bhakti. This is quality bhakti or quality japa. And one can be absorbed in the characteristics without absorbed in the essence of those characteristics. So my response to your question is, there may or may not be a prioritization of these 6. One could make an argument for the first one, or one can make an argument for the last one. But it's not the essence in any case. The essence is the purpose of all 6 is that Krishna, the horse should pull the cart, not the other way around. Hey. You made it.
Yes.
Okay, let's hear your question. Use the microphone, please.
I was wondering, how does one introduce the feeling of the chanting? Like in the Shikshashtaka it says, when will my eyes will fill with tears? How does one evoke those feelings?
Well, it starts with the why. It starts with bhakti, that is, Krishna should be pleased. Supposing you have that seed, but it's not matured yet, stay with the seed and do the watering. The watering is the hearing and chanting, Shravanam Kirtanam, so that the seed starts to sprout and matures into a creeper. And feelings, because I've been totally absorbed in preparing for a seminar on this topic of stages of bhakti, feelings may rise and fall like waves in a river, unpredictably. And it's when Bhakti Devi chooses to move the heart in a particular way, the emotion rises and then subsides. And then there's stages of bhakti where it's just unpredictable. And it becomes steadily unpredictable. And just one is just tossed around by the waves of ecstasy, and one doesn't have any control. Now that's at the Ruchi platform, and that's even before the Bhava platform. There's characteristics, not only tears, but different emotion due to the taste in the object. We'll go back. I'm just giving you a preamble of what's going to be next weekend. In the stage prior to Ruchi, there's attachment, asakti, to the activity, hearing and chanting. One cultivates attachment to the activity. In the Ruchi stage, it's attachment to the object of the activity. That's when emotion is just like completely out of control. And one starts behaving like a madman. But, not only crying, but the attachment prior to the stage of bhava is asakti. And you lose it. The emotion, so back to your question. Where does those emotions arise from? It arises from the seed. And then the seed that's nurtured by hearing and chanting. In a qualitative way, under proper guidance and instruction. Hearing and chanting properly, with proper sadhu sangha. And particularly those that have achieved that taste, that's why this Raghunath Das Goswami example is very important. Those who have that taste, pray to them, take shelter of them, hear from them, be at their feet and want to serve them, because they can give to you what you're asking. But the goal is not the emotion, the goal is Krishna is to be pleased. The emotion is a subset of that. Okay? More?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
One may get confused if one may be crying because one feels sorry for oneself. Things like that.
Yeah.
And that it's not a real feeling for Krishna.
That's correct. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes about that, saying, to discern between this and that, it takes intelligence. And it takes maturity. And without intelligence and maturity, one won't be able to discern. But one who has intelligence and maturity, they can discern. Within themselves and within others also.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Anything else? Do you have something? No. Someone raise your hand if you want the microphone. Back in the back. Two in the back. We're going to end with this. Those two persons that raised their hand.
So, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Speak slowly.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So, my question is about the Maunam. So, like you said, we should be only speaking about the Krishna and Krishna name during the japa. So, sometimes when you are doing a japa, okay, yes, but something comes up and you have to kind of respond, okay?
Okay.
So, how to deal with those kind of situations?
You
like you are walking and you're doing japa, but something comes and someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
You hit the pause button, and then you put the release of the pause button. That's what you do.
Okay.
When you're chanting, it's chanting. Some interruption comes. Some interruptions are just distractions. When you don't pay, you put them in your parking lot. We'll come back to you later, please. I have a parking lot. I use my phrase. I'll get to it later. Right now it's this. Some things are pressing. And then you put the pause button and you deal with it. then you release the pause button, and you're again focused. It takes mental discipline, directed by the intelligence. If it's really important, you hit the pause button, and otherwise, you can wait till later, whatever it is. If you can't wait till later, you pause. But it's a matter of discipline. It's a matter of controlling the mind and senses. You take discretion. What's really important and what's not. And you make selections, you make choices, directing the mind. Pause. Put it in your parking lot. But the intelligence has to be operative. And the intelligence in bhakti comes from Krishna. Not just your subjective thing. And then we look to our acharyas. What do they teach us? And what examples do they set? And that's the gold standard. So become familiar with the lives of our great acharyas and feel their shelter and protected by them. And then you'll get better intelligence tomorrow than yesterday. Last question? No, last question. Someone raised their hand up over here. We're going to take other questions later in the afternoon session. This is it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Just based on this class, all these items we see, are they like, we have to practice our entire lives, or is it like just during the chanting we need to meditate on this? All this because... Are you asking, my understanding of your question is, does this apply only to the period of time when we're chanting? Or, option B, it applies to all the characteristics of devotional service. That's your question. Yes.
And the answer is B. But, if you can't do it during chanting, you won't be able to do it during other. And if you do it nicely during chanting, it'll become more effective and likely to be how you conduct your other services because you've done nicely with chanting. It's the root. The most important, it's an important teaching in our lives as devotees. The nama for this age of Kali is the most important item. There are other important items, other services that we do, but you do your association with the name, the holy name properly, it's going to impact geometrically going out all the things that your life is made up of. All the things that your life is made up of. Do it nicely. And conversely, don't do it nicely and you won't be able to do any of those other things properly. But the answer to your question is yes, it applies to all features, primarily and principally with chanting. And then it geometrically expands into everything. Everything. How's that?
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj.
So, for focus, stay focused. And it will expand of its own accord, naturally. It doesn't become a 0 other than japa, but it's not a 10 either. The 10 is japa. And then it spiritualizes the rest of your life. The different things that you do that make up your life. Starting with that center. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Ishwara Sri Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna. So, after this wonderful session, chanting with quality, there are certain queries in the YouTube and Zoom.